in radio.com. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani. This is my good buddy Bruce Oler. Matt Martin and Ben the Intern are behind the glass today, and you're joining us on InRavio.com, where we broadcast to the world from the InRavio studios here in the Village Music Shoppy in beautiful Mastic, Long Island, in the great state of New York.
New York.
How are you, my friend?
All right, good. How about you, man?
Doing okay. How's everything going?
Well, I wish I had a job. I could tell you that.
Are we getting close to the end here?
Yeah.
Are you still
I'm still solvent. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Still liquid.
All righty. We got a lot of things we want to do today on the show. We have, first of all, may I congratulate you? Germany.
You can kiss the ring, my friend. That's what you can do, you know.
My German friend here, who predicted in the beginning of the World Cup that Germany would win.
Well, I mean, I had to go with my nationality. I mean, you know, or my heritage, I should say.
Your heritage.
Yeah.
And you know, it was a really great game. I mean, it was.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched a good portion of it.
Yeah, I turned on at halftime. It was nothing, and all I kept on worrying about was that it would go to that stupid shootout, because we talked about that last time, and that's really not a fair way to end such an important game, you know?
You know, I thought about it, and I was actually hoping for the shootout.
Really?
Yeah, I was. I was hoping for the shootout because, you know, we were talking, and I think we talked about this a little bit with Phil.
Alonge, yes.
Week. And we said, could you imagine if the major sports came down to some sort of like a shootout or whatever? And what it really is, it's not who scores the goals, it's who misses.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You know, and the amount of pressure on these guys to get what is essentially the only sure thing in soccer.
Well, it's a guessing game is what it is. I mean, the goalie guesses which side the guy is going to shoot at.
Right.
You know, as a matter of fact, I think if you shot right at the guy,
that's the way to do it.
He would dive out of the way.
Because he's
dive
going
one way or the other. I think you shoot right down the middle is what you do. That would have been my strategy, you know.
But I said, could you imagine if the NBA came down to free throws, right? Imagine the pressure.
Well, you also said like an extra point. I mean, we might be playing for a couple of days, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
But somebody's going to miss.
Well, eventually, yes. I mean, you know, that's the odds.
But Germany became the first European team to win the World Cup on South American soil.
Right.
And they get it with a dramatic goal in what they call extra time.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'm going to read you a sentence that I stole directly from a European news agency.
I see. So now I have to decipher this, right?
Right. No, it's okay.
Like
But this is
English?
just how they described it.
Okay.
Substitute Mario Götze chested down a cross from Andre Shirley at 1:15 and stroked it past the goalkeeper for the winner. Okay? Instead of just saying he scored the overtime goal.
Right. With an assist by
With an
another
assist
guy.
by that guy. All right. That is now 4 World Cups for
So
Germany.
they'll now have 4 stars.
I thought for sure you'd have 4 stars on your shirt.
We're 4-star generals. We're going to be, Colonel Klink or something,
Okay. Did you know that the Brazilians, obviously it was in Brazil.
Well,
So-
we talked about the fact that Brazil was going to get smoked in that consolation game, and they did.
Which, of course, they
Yeah.
did. There were 74,000 people, but many of the Brazilians were rooting for Germany.
Well, that would probably be an injustice to them if Argentina wound up winning.
Right. I mean, I believe that's like Mets and Yankees.
Well, you're always rooting for the Red Sox, aren't you? It's the same thing,
They said it wasn't really the final that the 200 million Brazilians were looking for. But as they said, all the Argentinian fans were gloating as they were coming into the stadium.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they said it could have turned into like their worst nightmare if Argentina had won.
Yeah, well, imagine that. Yeah, I could see that being a bad scene.
Anyway, the World Cup starts out with 32 teams. They wound up scoring 171 goals, which ties
An all-time record?
an all-time World Cup record. But some of the best of the European teams didn't even get past the group. Italy
is one of
England,
them.
Spain, the defending champ. They didn't even get past the group stage. Teams like Colombia, Costa Rica, Chile, and even like Algeria, they really played well. They got to like that second part of the round. But it wound up costing Brazil $13.5 billion
It's with a B.
with a B
Wow.
to host the World Cup. And they've got the Summer Olympics coming up in 2 years in Rio.
I know that, and Phil talked about this also, that basically there was some protests because of the amount of money that the government is spending on this, where meanwhile more than half the population lives in poverty.
Yeah.
There's probably a better way to spend that money than to build a couple of stadiums to host a world event.
Yeah, of course, Germany had thousands and thousands of fans. They said about 400,000 came out to cheer. They were chanting, calling them football gods.
Okay.
Every time they announced the
Yeah,
players'
you got to
name.
watch it. I mean, as I said, my heritage is Germany, is German, but you always got that master race thing involved there. You always get a little upset, a little concerned about that.
So Argentina donated $135,000 of their winnings to a pediatric hospital in Buenos Aires. But after the loss, they were rioting in the streets of Argentina.
Well,
Police had to use tear gas and rubber bullets.
rubber bullets. Okay.
That hurts, rubber bullets.
I guess they would.
It's like probably a little more than like paintball pellets. But if you ever got hit with a paintball pellet, that hurts.
I have.
I've been hit with a paintball pellet.
Okay.
It hurts.
Believe you.
They said many of the youths that were involved had their faces covered and were drinking heavily.
No surprise there.
No surprise there. All right. Speaking of drinking heavily,
Okay.
our favorite paraplegic, well, not paraplegic, what is he?
Quadrant? No, he's not. He's handicapped.
Our handicap, the Blade Runner, Oscar Pistorius.
Yes.
His trial is still going on for murder
Right.
of his girlfriend. It came back about a week or so ago,
But I think there was something about his mental health or whatever, right? Where, he's definitely competent and whatever,
Well-
and whatever sentence they hand down, it's not going to go to, an insane asylum or something.
a team of psychiatrists
Yes.
examined him during the period of time that the trial was on hiatus. And they wrote that he did not suffer from a mental disorder
There you
at
go.
the commission of the offense that would have rendered him criminally not responsible for the offenses. If they had said that he was mentally ill, that's done.
Would the trial be over?
It would have been not guilty by reason of insanity. Doesn't even have to go to a mental hospital. Just
Okay.
done, finished.
Unbelievable.
I'm mentally so. Instead, he's still facing 25 years to life in prison. And on Saturday, this weekend, he got into a bar fight.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Well, What was the
His
fight about?
family.
Did they say what the circumstances for the fight were?
Well, his family said it was because he's been very lonely lately.
I see.
Well, of course, he murdered the only girl that loved him.
Exactly, yeah.
It kind of, maybe, it kind of like...
Did they say what he was drinking?
Well, yes. He was thrown out of a bar after he was brawling with somebody called Jared Mortimer.
Okay.
Okay. The family...
And this is in South Africa?
This is in South Africa.
Okay.
The family said that Mortimer was the aggressor, and he approached Pistorius and was blaming him, was, grilling him about the trial.
Okay.
Okay. But that's not what Mortimer claims. Mortimer says that that Pistorius was completely drunk and approached him.
Okay.
Okay. They were in some VIP section of a club, and they were talking about, this is a quote from Mortimer. He says, "We were talking about people we knew, and he said he had been screwed over by a number of his friends, of Mortimer's friends. They apparently had people they knew in common. We were drinking tequila."
Okay, all right.
Okay. He says, then Pistorius started poking him in the chest.
Oh, well, okay, that's a little threatening.
And talking trash about President Jacob Zuma's family. Apparently, this guy Mortimer knows the president of South Africa's family.
Okay.
So, because he was in his personal space, he pushed him. And of course,
Mortimer
pushed Pistorius. And of course, he's not very...
No, he's not stable.
Stable.
Yeah.
He fell over chairs.
He didn't have a leg to stand on. Okay, okay.
So he pushes him, and he falls over. Right?
Okay.
Then he gets up. The bouncer said that after he got up, he started fighting with another guy, and then they threw him out.
I see.
So...
Did he try to hit him with the blade?
I don't know exactly what legs he was wearing at the time. Did he have his little, bouncy legs on him, or did he just have a regular one that looks like a foot?
I still say he should have joined the high jump. I mean, imagine how high you could go with that kind of torque,
Well, my question is, I wonder if they allow him to wear those things in prison.
Probably not.
They call him Stumpy for a reason.
Yeah. One good reason. Okay.
One good reason. All right, and one other quickie thing, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
As you predicted last week.
Oh,
we talked about.
I'm not going to be like ESPN,
But you said Carmelo Anthony's going to sign back with the Knicks.
Well, it wasn't just me. It was about everybody, I think, on the planet Earth said that, too.
So he winds up signing a 5-year, $124 million contract.
So he took a little bit less than the max.
Little less than the max.
$5 million less than the max.
But he did get a no-trade clause.
Okay.
Okay, there are only four other NBA players that have a no-trade clause.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Dirk
And this
Nowitzki.
is his decision whether he wants to get traded or not, right?
It's a no-trade clause. I think that means that he can...
He needs to approve any kind of trade that the team would work
And
out.
he's also got an opt-out clause after 4 years. So, Knick fans, you got Carmelo Anthony back.
Thank God all that crap is over, because, that was going on for so long, all these guys. Where were they going to go? And really the big news still was LeBron James.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I read in today's paper that LeBron James is now the most popular athlete on the planet.
Really?
Yeah. And that was before he made this decision, believe it or not.
Really? He was still the most popular man?
Yeah. I think Michael Jordan went from number 1 to number 2. It's unbelievable that Michael Jordan isn't even playing anymore.
And he's still number 2.
He's been the most popular athlete on the planet for a while,
All righty. We are just getting started here on the Glory Days Show. It's going to be time for our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look at about baseball All-Star game. Later on the show, we'll have our good pal, 13-year-old Bobby Baseball will join us, talk about the Mets in the second half of the baseball season. And you stick around, Mr. B will do a song for you. What's it going to be this week?
It's going to be the Gin Blossoms, Found Out About You.
Found Out About You.
Okay.
Find out about us right after this. You're watching the Glory Days Show. Radio.
In radio.com.
This is Joe Larson from the 5051 Racing Show, live every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Watch as I dive into everything from NASCAR and motor racing, only on InRadio.com.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or the flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Descalfani. This is my good buddy Bruce Oler. And we want to talk a little bit of a guest today about the Baseball All-Star
Yes.
Game. You know,
Or the Derek Jeter Love Fest.
The Derek Jeter Love
was
Fest.
the subtitle, I think.
You know,
for that.
it was hard. It was hard not watching it. Every New Yorker, even Met fans, appreciate Derek Jeter.
Yes.
For the kind of baseball player he is. You know, we had in the beginning of the year we did a baseball preview show,
Yeah.
our extravaganza.
And Derek Jeter announced that he was retiring back in May, I guess, before the season started.
And Mike Ferrara, who is the baseball expert here on radio.com, was
The Admiral.
The Admiral on fantasy baseball, Code Red.
Yes.
He said that he was talking about how Derek Jeter is beloved here in New York, but he didn't think that Derek Jeter was beloved
Yeah.
anywhere else.
Well, and they proved that wrong. But I'll tell you what, and we were talking about this a little bit off camera. You know, when he was announced, everybody screaming, "Derek Jeter, Derek," and there was somebody who was close to the microphone. You heard, "Overrated," and I could swear that was Mike Ferrara's
It was
voice.
We should have got him on the phone.
I know.
Dennis.
We're gonna do a voice print on that. You know.
But Nike spent millions of dollars on a commercial.
Yeah.
Called To Respect, but R-E,
Two.
S was a two,
Yeah.
P-E-C-T.
Yeah.
And they had sports people, mostly Yankee fans and stuff, and they were all just kind of
Tipping
tipping
the hat.
their hat. And actually, did you see the little scene with the Met players?
Yeah, I don't know. Why were the Mets kind of blurred out?
Because they weren't really the Mets.
Oh, really?
They were just actors.
Oh, really?
Wearing Met uniforms, so they blurred out the number and the face.
I see. But they blurred out Mr. Met's
Mr. Met's
face.
head, which I thought was kind of funny.
I didn't get that.
But you did see a couple of Boston Red Sox fans begrudgingly tipping
Yeah.
their hat and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think there's a Boston fan in the world that would do that.
Yeah.
As
You don't
much
think
as
so?
they say he's a great guy, they wouldn't do it that way.
Yeah.
You think there's any Boston fan that is not happy that Derek Jeter is finally retiring? They no longer have to worry about him?
Well, you're probably right about that. But I got to tell you, I had read so much about this commercial and, in the paper.
Right.
And I think they leaked it really on the internet before it actually
Yes, they
aired,
released it
aired
before.
live. And I watched it, and somebody made a comment because it was a posting saying, I dare you not to cry. And I tell you what, I thought it was boring, to tell you the
I
truth.
thought it was-
I didn't think it was
First
any.
of all,
I didn't think it was any good.
It
I
was
really
90
didn't.
seconds.
Yeah. It didn't tug
It
at
was-
my heartstrings. I can tell
Personally,
you
I
that.
thought it was a little monotonous
Yeah,
after a while.
yeah.
Everybody doing the same thing.
Yeah. And some of the people you didn't know, Phil Jackson, I don't think is a well-known face,
No.
and he was sitting there with his wife,
Right, who was not even less known.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what she looks
exactly,
like?
Spike Lee, I thought that was cool, and Rudy Giuliani, that was cool,
I'm not getting sick of it already.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I don't know. Like I say, it was a love fest. There was the commercial, the pregame address that he did to his teammates.
Although I got to say, I did like that.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
What he said was,
It goes fast, I think is what he said. Or I'm paraphrasing
he
here,
says, remember every time you put your uniform on, because trust me, it goes quickly. You think about baseball players.
Yeah.
And you think about, they talk about the everyday routine, the this and that, and some players look at it as a job. And you and I obviously were sports fans. We can't imagine what it would be like to be a baseball player. And I think the regular Joe fan, if he was ever able to become a baseball player, would be one of those guys that just enjoys it every day and looks forward to it every day and has fun with it every day.
There was an interview, I forgot Reynolds, I think maybe was the guy's name.
Harold Reynolds?
Who did the interview with him beforehand. I think it was they shot it probably on Monday. And one of the things that Derek Jeter said is, I can't see how you're playing for 3 hours, how you can't give your all for those 3 hours.
And that's exactly
And I think that sums up his career.
Yeah,
And it's just a
absolutely.
shame that not many, and it really kind of boggles my mind that more players just don't feel that way.
Right. Some
know?
players, they look at it as, well, it's my job.
They
I
don't
it's
run the
your
ball
job.
out to first base,
And you can't.
They're lollygagging out
That
in the
was the
outfield.
problem that I had with Jose Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Reyes says a lot of times, he says it's hard to concentrate on every pitch. How can that be?
Yeah.
You're getting paid millions of dollars to
This is your
basically
job,
play a
man.
game.
Yeah.
And granted that you have to perform, and you have to perform at a high level.
Yeah.
But that's all you do. every day.
And the thing about baseball, though, is that there is a lot of downtime. Where you get a lot of chances to be distracted between pitches and things,
Yes. You have a job. If you work at Home Depot, okay?
Yeah.
You have to, when you're at work, you can't be on the phone. You
Yeah.
can't be not paying attention. You have a job to do. That's what pays your rent. That's what does everything.
These guys probably in
for
the
you.
dugouts checking Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah,
man,
you can't, it's the people that do that that don't keep their jobs.
Now, they also had him, I guess, Mike, after he came out of the game, and they let him go out to the field, and then they let another big ovation when
Right,
somebody
right,
went
right.
out to replace him. I forgot who the guy was.
Right.
But then they had him mic'd up, and they were talking to him. And a couple of times they were mentioning the fact that he was 40, and you can see he was bristling about that. Because a couple of times he says, "You're 50," is what he said to the guy. You know?
I think, you know what, he's like any other athlete.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but God love him, he knows he's going out.
Yeah.
Probably not on top, obviously, because the Yankees are most likely.
Well, we'll talk about them in a little while. I mean,
not gonna make
like you say, they're a long shot, I think, to make the playoffs.
Right. So
and it'll be a little sad that he won't be able to really, shine in the postseason as he's done. That's one of his legacies, really.
Let's talk about the only real controversy of the game, which of course involves Jeter and involves Adam Wainwright, who, as a Met fan, we hate anyway.
Yeah.
Not because of him, but because of Carlos Beltran.
Yeah.
But Adam Wainwright, after the game was over. Now, Jeter, the first pitch he threw to Jeter, who led off the game, was in the dirt. Mm-hmm. The next pitch he threw was a little outside, and Jeter just poked it to right for a double. He then got a hit, his next at bat, off somebody else who I don't remember.
Got a single. So he went 2 for 2.
He went 2 for 2. But after the game, they asked Adam Wainwright about it, and he says, his exact words were he gave Jeter a couple of pipe shots.
Yeah, I can't say I was familiar with that term. To me, it's a meatball, I guess, is really what it is.
He threw it down the pipe.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Pitches that he could handle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He grooved the pitch.
But then the Twitter universe exploded.
Yeah.
After some of the reporters that were in the room
said
that.
I mean, I think everybody can understand that he would do that. Okay, but I think to admit to it, and especially right after the game, let it go a couple of weeks, maybe let it go a year or something like that.
Well, the guy who I think it was Chan Ho Park.
Yeah.
He gave up a home run to Cal Ripken in his final All-Star game, which was in Baltimore, right? He gave up a home run to him. And he admitted that he grooved one for him to hit a home run.
Sure.
But, of course, that was before the game meant anything.
Well, that's right. I mean, and that's an important point that you're making there. Because, again, home field advantage for the World Series is on the line here. If that game winds up 1-0, he grooves a pitch to Derek Jeter, Derek Jeter hits out of the park.
Right.
And his team lost to the Red Sox in the World Series, and I think the last 5 champions have had the home field advantage.
Yes. Well, listen, his team last year.
Yeah, that's right.
They had a 3-2 lead. They went into Boston and lost the final 2 games.
There you go. There you go.
Matt, do we have the quote? Okay, so this is what Adam Wainwright said to ESPN's Erin Andrews. Sometimes my sense of humor gets taken the wrong way. I feel terrible about this. If anyone is taking any credit away from what Derek Jeter has done today or off me, it was missaid.
Missaid. Sounds like he's talking to, what's his name? Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens.
Okay.
What did he say? I misremembered?
Yeah, exactly right.
I hope people know that I'm not intentionally giving up hits. I'm very competitive. You know what? I really don't think that anybody remembers the outcome of All-Star games. I mean, they remember specific moments in games.
Like Pete Rose ran over...
Pete Rose. Remember Reggie Jackson hitting that home run?
In Detroit?
Remember John Kruk when he faced Randy Johnson? Randy Johnson threw the ball over his head, and then he was afraid the whole rest of the at-bat. It's one of the greatest things.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense. The game is supposed to matter, but the starting teams are determined by the fans, right? And baseball insists that every team has a representative.
Okay.
So therefore, there's going to be really good players that don't make it. Plus, Major League Baseball hasn't come up with any way that starting pitchers could pitch in the game because if they pitch on Sunday, they're not eligible to pitch on Tuesday. So, of course, every year we talk about the things that I said I'd like to change about the All-Star game. One of them is that rule, that the game, instead of being played on a Tuesday, be played on a Wednesday. That would allow anybody that pitched on Sunday to pitch just an
short
inning.
rest, yeah.
Now, if it, Bud Selig defends his decision by saying that by making it count is better than the old thing they used to use, which was alternating every year. It's just as arbitrary if you think about it.
Yeah.
But why not? Why doesn't just the team
I also
that have
read that
the...
I think between 59 and 62, there were 2 All-Star games played every year.
Used to be one in spring training.
Is that what it was?
But why not just simply make it the team with the best record? Team with the best record gets home. Every other sport does it that way.
It's
other
not,
than
like it's not
football.
like they're printing up tickets,
Right.
in advance. Not like
Right.
the Super Bowl where we know where the game's going to be for the next 5 years.
Because you have no idea until possibly 2 days before the
Who's
series
gonna be playing
starts
it.
where
Yeah.
it's going to be.
Yeah.
Now, football is different, obviously, because it's played at a neutral site. That's
Yeah.
why the Super Bowl is a thing. But anyway, the players don't take it seriously. Justin Verlander, a couple years ago, he just wanted to hit 100 on the radar gun.
Yeah.
Because he wanted the fans to ooh and ah.
Yeah.
He gave up 3 runs. Who cares,
Yeah.
So let's turn it back into an exhibition.
Yeah, we should
shall
do
we?
that.
We turn it
I
back
also
into
want to
an
talk about,
exhibition.
get back to Adam Wainwright for a second,
Yeah.
because, he grooves this pitch. And there was an article in yesterday's Post talking to Denny McClain. Now, Denny McClain was
Denny
the last
McClain,
guy that
yeah.
won 30
games.
Okay?
That's a
and I
record
think he
that'll
won
never
30
be
games,
broken.
68, okay? So this was in 1968. It was Mickey Mantle's last year, okay? And he's facing Mickey Mantle in Detroit in late September. The Detroit Tigers had already, I think they won a World Series that year. They already had, so they had clinched, okay? He calls the catcher up, tells him, I'm going to groove him a pitch, okay? So he said he throws him 2 pitches, and Mickey Mantle takes both of them, He calls the pitcher back. It was just, we're not dealing with a Rhodes Scholar here, is what he said, Mickey Mantle fouls off the next pitch, and then he said the 4th pitch he hit 9 miles. As it turned out, that was his 535th home run, which put him into sole possession of 3rd place.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, Mickey Mantle is now 16th on that list. He only hit 1 more home run that year.
Wow.
His final year. He had one about 536.
What's his name? Joe Torre.
Yeah.
Joe Torre was talking about how, everybody's making such a big deal. He said in the All-Star game that he was in, he says they told Orlando Cepeda every pitch they were going to throw.
Really?
He says, and he still didn't get a hit. He said, so even if the player knows what the thing is, it still doesn't mean they're going to get a hit. So you know what? Make it an exhibition game. Come on, go back to that. Let's put the fun back in the All-Star game. I love to see those guys do that. I want to see them run backwards and
I love the introductions. I
Right.
get a chance to see all the players that are out there. Some of them you don't see that.
And they did take one of the disco rules this year. There was an unwritten rule in baseball, in all All-Star games, that if your catcher got injured, you could bring back in one of your other catchers. Okay. And a couple of years ago, which I think after the first time I said this, they said that in the All-Star game, the managers were allowed to submit a list of a backup player in case any of the players get hurt late in the game. Okay. This year, they took it almost to the extreme, which my rule was free substitution. Okay, just put them in and out, whatever. This year they said that if anybody gets ejected or injured in the game,
What would they
and
get
they're
ejected
on,
for?
well, who knows what you're doing. If you get ejected or you get injured in a game, and there are no more position players left on the bench, anybody can be brought back into the game.
So they're listening to disco.
They're listening to
And
me.
they're watching in radio.com. That's what they're doing. Okay.
That proves it.
MLB. Okay.
And the other thing is, how much time I got? All right. The other thing is that the kid from the Yankees, Dylan Bettenens, he didn't get to play.
It's too bad.
Because they have to hold somebody in case the game goes into extra innings. Forget about extra innings. There should be no extra innings in the All-Star game. Very simple. If the game ends in a tie, we do a simple home run derby to determine the winner.
Well,
one guy gets 3 swings. If he hits a home run, the next guy goes. And you do 5 guys, and whoever hits the most home, and you don't get to hit 3 home runs. You get 3 swings to hit 1 home run. And if you don't hit the home run, you get a 0 for that thing. That to me, people would be rooting for a tie.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Let's talk about the home run derby when we come back.
Okay.
All right. We are halfway through the Glory Days show, so we'll let us catch our breath, regroup, take a little halftime break here. When we come back, we'll have Bobby Baseball on the phone. We'll talk about the Mets, second half of the baseball season. We'll talk a little bit about the home run derby, and I'd like to see the All-Star game through a 13-year-old kid's eyes.
Yeah.
All right. Stick around. Mr. B will do a song at the end. You're watching the Glory Days Show on InRavio.com.
InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Gina Cotillo from The Gina Show. Come join us every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for celebrity interviews, Reality Reel with Billy Charles, funny stories with Brian Kinnear, and much, much more. The Gina Show can be found only on InRavio.com, broadcasting to the world, so come and catch us.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to Facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco. On our phone from the great state of New Jersey.
The hairy armpit of the
hairy
East
armpit
Coast.
of the
Okay.
tri-state area, maybe?
Yeah.
Is our good friend, a good friend of the show. We affectionately call him Bobby Baseball. It is 13-year-old Bobby O'Brien, who is in a baseball tournament today in New Jersey. Bobby, there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Okay,
Good, thanks.
did you guys play a game this morning, or you haven't played yet?
No, we have a game in an hour and a half about.
Oh, an hour and a half, okay. And I understand you had a team meeting just before we got you on the phone.
Yeah, like 20, 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, and what did the coach tell you?
We were discussing the distance from the field, what we're going to do after the games, different things like that.
Nothing to do with who you're playing and scouting reports.
Oh, no scouting reports.
All righty, Bobby. So, You know, a couple of weeks ago, and I know that you're a Met fan, as Bruce and myself are. A couple of weeks ago, I think we were ready to throw in the towel on this team, and all of a sudden they've had a little bit of a resurgence.
But, you know, it seems like whenever the Mets win a couple games in a row or they're on a little bit of a surge, everyone seems to think that, you know, maybe they'll start to kick it in gear. But then they just go back to being the Mets, and it's just the same team. I have to see a little more from them before I really start to gain faith in them.
So you're not ready to drink the Kool-Aid yet, right?
Absolutely not.
Well, the good news is they're playing San Diego to start the second half here. So San Diego's a pretty terrible team. So they should get 2 out of 3 for them at least, you know. Then it gets a little tougher. They're going to Seattle and then Milwaukee, 2 teams at the season ended today. They'd be in the playoffs. So that's a different story altogether.
Playoff race right now.
Yep.
You know, the thing is that, and, you know, as you're finding out as a Met fan, you know, we look for little crumbs, little sparks of things. And we're getting really good starting pitching right now. Jason
Yeah,
DeGrom.
between G and even Wheeler's been better a little. DeGrom's been a great surprise.
Yeah.
I think they're all doing well. They got Syndergaard coming up soon. And next year you have Harvey and Hefner coming back.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. You know, I'm watching ESPN yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were talking about whether the Met, not ESPN, Sports SNY. Yes, and they were talking about whether the Mets are going to be sellers or buyers or whatever come the trading deadline, which is in a couple weeks. So really, they only have about 10 days to sort of make a decision on players. Would you trade, other than a guy like Mike Stanton or Giancarlo Stanton from the Marlins? They were talking about the guy Ramon Castro, the shortstop on Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. They're talking about that guy, that the Chicago Cubs just made a trade for another shortstop. And they might be looking to move Castro. He's got a 5-year contract already. And he was talking about, you know, trading either Wheeler or DeGrom for this guy. I wouldn't trade one of those guys.
I tell you
for
what,
him.
you know, Daniel Murphy's name comes in the conversation too. The only guy I think that I would trade is Bartolo Colon.
Yeah.
I think everybody else is it's a good
I was
nucleus of a
thinking
team.
send Cologne to the Cubs, and they have a lot of young guys. Maybe we could get a shortstop from them or some sort of prospect. Their minor league system is great.
I mean, I'm looking at Castro, and he's a good shortstop, but he's not great.
Yeah. And how about the guy that they brought up, you know, to kind of put some heat on Tejada? He's back and he's hitting, not going to cover off the ball
Flores,
again. Yeah. You know, so again, I think the only guy that I think, you know, of course I'm not the general manager, that I would even consider trading is Bartolo Colon. You know, he doesn't fit in the long-term plan of this team. I think just about everybody else does. You said they got a lot of young studs as far as pitching goes. I'll tell you, my favorite pitcher on the Mets right now is Jacob DeGrom. He really is, you know?
Absolutely. Jacob DeGrom has done a lot better than I thought he was. He hasn't gotten a lot of run support.
No, he hasn't.
But he might, since Dylan Diaz gone out, he's probably been their best pitcher so far.
Yep. And John Nisa, I mean, all the starting pitching's been pretty good, you know?
Yeah, it's all been good, mostly. But I agree with sending Colon to the Cubs, because the Cubs have a shortstop in the minor leagues right now. His name's Javier Baez, and he just seems like he's one of the best prospects in the minors. And I think if we get him, he would be one of the guys to build around. Maybe we send Colon and another starting pitcher over there.
Yeah, maybe
Dice K.
Dice K. Dice K's another guy I don't think fits in the long-term
another guy we
plans.
could send over there. And if we could get Javier Baez, that would be great. That would be a really big acquisition.
You know, we don't know what's going to happen, but, you know, you got DeGrom, you have Nice, you've got G, you've got Wheeler, you've got Harvey coming back.
Hefner.
You've got Hefner,
Syndergaard.
What are you going to do with all these guys?
Well, you know, part of you says we have too much, we can trade. But I mean, you look at a team like the Yankees; they lost 80% of their staff. You know, so I don't think I don't think you even have enough good starting pitching. I really don't. You know.
All right, Bobby, what do you think about the All-Star game?
Well, this was the big thing about the All-Star game. I was on this website, and there was a lot of people trying to make a case for Derek Jeter, that he should have received the All-Star game MVP.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was right at all. Even though it was his last All-Star game, I don't care how good his career was. It was about what he did that day.
Right.
And
That's
Mike
true.
Trout deserved it a lot more than Derek Jeter because he performed a lot better.
Did you watch the home run derby?
I did.
Did you like the home run derby?
I kind of like the old format a little better. I was okay with this one too, though.
Why? Because you didn't think they had enough swings?
Yeah, I think they should have had 10 outs instead of 7.
Yeah,
I like
it goes
11.
on way too long, though.
See, I
even,
thought-
even with the
yeah.
7 outs, it went on way too long. I like the bracket piece, though. You know, American League versus
Yeah, I like
National.
the bracket part too. And
know?
the swing offs. I like that.
Yep.
And didn't you have something you wanted to say about the All-Star game?
Well, I mean, it basically, the fact they changed the, they changed it. It was 7 outs instead of 10, and it was American League versus National, which I thought was good. And you were talking about the fact that if the game ends in a tie, you have a home run derby. Somebody proposed that basically the home run derby should determine who.
Oh, that just use the results of the home run derby?
Yeah.
As the winner of the game if
Yeah.
the game ends in
Yeah.
a tie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby, we were talking about the All-Star game before and about what that Wainwright had said something about giving Derek Jeter a pitch to hit.
Oh.
You know what? I don't really even care about that. I just don't like the fact that the All-Star game is being used to determine who gets home field in the World Series.
Well, they were just trying to do that because basically they had egg on their face that one year where everybody ran out of players and it had to end in a tie. So they said that's never going to happen again. We're going to make this thing count for something.
All right, Bobby, we got to get going, but I got 2 questions I want you to answer real fast. Number one, do they end up releasing Chris Young at some point, or do you think they'll find some idiot to trade with?
I think they're going to end up releasing him. No one's going to want to take Chris Young.
Okay. Second half of the year, do the Mets have a run in them? Is there a chance they can get back in this thing?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say yes just because I'm a Mets fan and I want to have faith in them, but I don't really know.
Well, you know what? In anything, when you talk about baseball, pitching is the key, and the Mets have the pitching.
Never
They
have
do.
too much pitching.
You know what? Familia, Edgin, Mejia, they've really straightened out their bullpen.
I think they got a run in them. I really do.
I
Yeah,
hope
they're
so.
both been strengthening. That's true.
Yep.
All right, Bobby, we got to run. Enjoy. Good luck in your game tonight.
Yeah, good
right,
luck in
thank
the tournament there.
And we'll talk to you again.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Let's
Take
go,
care.
Mets.
All right.
All right.
All righty, it is time for the 7th inning stretch here on the Glory Days Show. We're going to take a short break. We're going to get ready for Mr. B's song. So get up, move around, don't go too far. We'll be right back.
In Ravio.com. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to Facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or the flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice, and we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
Welcome back to the Glory Days show. At the end of every program, our own Mr. B does a song for you. Today he's going to do the Gin Blossoms, Found Out About You. Take it away, Mr. B.
No, last summer, in case you don't recall, I was yours and you were mine for get it all. Is there a line that I could write sad enough to make you cry? All the lines you wrote to me were lies. The months roll past, the love that you struck dead. Did you love me or only in my head? The things you said and did to me seemed to come so easily. The love I thought I'd won you give for free. For whispers at the bus stop, heaven about nights at the schoolyard. Found out about you, found out about you. The rumors follow everywhere you go, like when you left and I was last to know. You're famous now and there's no doubt. All the places you hang out, they know your name, they know what you're all about. The whispers at the bus stop, heaven about nights at the schoolyard. Found out about you, found out about you. Lights blink on through the car window. The time too often on AM radio. Well, you're all I think about. I write your name, drive past your house. Your boyfriend's over, I watch the lights go out. Whispers at the bus stop, I've heard about nights at the schoolyard. Found out about you, found out about you. Whispers at the bus stop, I've heard about nights at the schoolyard. Found out about you, found out about you. Found out about you. Okay.
Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Gina Cotillo from The Gina Show. Come join us every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for celebrity interviews, Reality Reel with Billy Charles, funny stories with Brian Kinnear, and much, much more. The Gina Show can be found only on InRavio.com, broadcasting to the world, so come and catch us.
We are about out of time here on the Glory Days Show, and so we want to say thanks to our producer, Matt Martin, who hosts In or Out, pun intended, that you can see right here on InRavio, beginning back in September from 6 to 7 on Friday nights. You could also check out not only Matt's show, In or Out, but any of the shows on the archive pages. Just go to www.inravio.com. We also want to thank our new best friend, Ben the intern, for helping us out today. Thanks again, Bobby Baseball, for helping us out, doing a little talk about the Mets and stuff. And I guess we're kind of looking forward to that. Looking forward to the season, the second half of the season. Hopefully, it won't be a swan dive. You know. Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Don't forget, check out our archive page. You can watch any one of these silly little shows on the archive. Enjoy your weekend.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
8radio.com.